Could you give us a brief introduction of yourself?
2025年6月、創業わずか半年のあるサービスが120億円で買収された。
I am Maor Shlomo, founder and CEO of Base44, and before that I started a company called Explorium, and I was the CEO there for 7 years before starting Base44.
その名は Base44。バイブコーディングでフルスタックのアプリケーションを作成できるサービスで、データベース認証、ホスティングまで一括で行ってくれるというエンジニアだけでなく、非エンジニアが非常に使いやすい設計のバイブコーディングサービスです。驚くべき点は、資金調達一切なし、買収されるまでほぼ CEO 一人で開発、マーケティングを行っていた点で、まさに AI でレバレッジして短期間でサービスを売却した成功例となっています。今回テックワールドでは、Base44 CEO 来日に合わせて単独取材を行い、ゼロから半年で120億円の値がついた一人スタートアップ Base44 の成功の裏側についてインタビューしてきました。
The idea of how I came up with Base44 was pretty funny. My wife has a small business and she needed a customer relationship management application, CRM. And we tried different softwares, kind of like configuring different stuff, and we tried some drag and drop stuff to try and build something that will be very, very customized, very lean to what she actually needs. And at some point, I was pretty deep into everything that's been happening with AI and coding models in general. And I think ChatGPT back then was pretty good. Claude started to pick up, and I thought to myself, it doesn't make sense that software looks like this anymore. The models can write really good code. The code needs to be deployed somewhere. It needs access to databases and so on. And if we can make this connection between the coding models and the actual infrastructure, then we can allow very non-technical people like my wife to build the software that they need for their business or their life or whatever. So that's how I started Base44, with the intention of allowing my wife to build her own tools for her business. Base44 was kind of like the last player to enter, or the last major player, I think, to enter the market. And when I started, there was already Lovable, Bolt, Replit, and many great players. I think what Base44 did really well and kind of like stood out of the competition is we've built everything from the ground up inside Base44, and specifically the back-end side. So most of the industry nowadays is integrating with third-party tools like Supabase and Firebase for their. Base44 gave this the first batteries included experience, meaning that we gave the users ability to build application, and for every application that they've built, they had everything they needed already inside Base44, and they didn't need to integrate any third-party external services. And until this day, that's what we're doing really, really well. I think the fact that we've built this vertically integrated platform that has a database, user management integrations, AI model stuff, everything that you might need to build a functional software.
何を作ってるんですか？
今はラックマネジメント。
ラックマネジメント。
自分の運を管理するアプリ。
おー、なるほど。
はい、っていうのを作ってますね。なんか健康とかビジネスの進捗とか、いろいろこうなんかこう数値化したりデータ化したりとか管理するみたいなやってたりするじゃないですか。で僕はなんか運って管理できるものだと思っていて、でそれをなんかこうちょっとでも説得力を持ってでかつなんかこうなんか怪しくない状態で表現できるとしたらちょっと面白いかなっていうのが発想のなんか起点みたいなところ。僕は非エンジニアに当たる側で、今この1時間2時間の間で6個ぐらいアプリペッて作ってみたんですけど、その全然違うアイディアでとりあえず6個作ろうって感じで作ってみて今のにたどり着いてるんですけど、そんなのってやっぱり今まで想像できなかったんですよね。こういうものを構築して世の中に出していくって自分がやる側だっていう想像はやっぱり、少なくとも一人でやるっていう想像は全くなかったんで、面白いですよね。
なかなか結構いろんなバックグラウンドの方がすごく多かったから、普通のハッカソンと違ってよかったですね本当にノンエンジニアの人でもやっぱりこう作りたいものを最速で作れるプラットフォームとしてすごいいいなと思っていて、結構そのウェブサイト上でこうチャットを打ってああいう感じでこう作れますっていうような今日の類似サービスもいっぱいあるかなと思うんですけど、それだと例えばこう スーパーベースとか自分で作んないといけないよねとか、こう自分でこうインテグレーションする必要がいっぱいあったりするんですけど、ベース44はかなりこう全てこうマネージドであるっていうところで、本当に気にすることがなくって、本当にこう作りたいものとか直したいところ、そのプロンプトに集中できるのがすごくいいなっていうところでしたね。なんですごく実際こうね、全然非エンジニアの方もこうすごい今日結構たくさんの数ができたんですよねっていうところで感心したなっていうのが正直な感想ですね。
I think the world is different now. I remember in my previous company we had a great R&D department and tens of great software engineers. I think nowadays it's not anymore a question of number of people, right? Previously, if you had a large software project, the more people you throw at it, the faster it will go, because the bottleneck was writing code. And if you had more people, they will write more code and you'll get to the destination faster. I think this is not the case anymore. I think one person with a good idea and ability to design software, design a product, good product understanding, can do much more because they're not really alone, right? Even when I started, and that was a year ago, by myself I could code and market and go through support tickets with the help of AI. And if that was a year ago, I think today you can do a lot without a team, without funding. Not necessarily you should. I think Base44 was a type of product and company that was a good fit for going alone. It blew up very fast. It was profitable very, very fast. It didn't need teams of people. It didn't need salespeople to go and sell the product. I think other companies, for example, if you sell to other businesses or large enterprises, you probably need a team of salespeople from the get-go and you need funding for that. But for Base44, it was the type of business that if it works, it's very viral. And if it's not, then it's a good thing that you didn't raise funds for it. So for this one, I decided to go by myself.
When you get to a certain point of complexity in your application and you have... Hello everyone, thank you for coming here, thank you for your time. My name is Maor, I'm the CEO and founder of Base44. This is my first time in Japan, I'm very excited to be here.
For a while, I think, for the past few months, it's been probably closer to 90%. But the challenge is not anymore the lines of code written by AI. A lot of what we're investing now is in verification of code. It's in the ability to get good design. It's in the ability to not only write code, but actually push great code inside. I think one of the things that's very fun for us internally inside Base44 is that in order to make Base44 good, we had to really learn how to make LLMs write great code. And good code, and what's the architecture, and how do you approach it, and so we've taken a lot of the learnings that we had to go through in the product in order, and we've taken this internally also for our own development process. So the team is pretty small, especially compared to the revenues that we're at, but we have a lot of automations end to end with different AI agents, not only the ones writing code, but actually doing security testing, actually doing design system review and so on. That's automating a lot of what we do.
Just built an inventory tracker, protein calculator, a workflow manager,
Tracks who still owes for the group lunch.
I think Base44 was very viral from day one. The first chunk of users and customers came from like organic posts that I would do on my social accounts. So Base44, when I started Base44, I wanted it to be a very open journey. And I did this build in public, both on LinkedIn and Twitter. And I think it works really well. It worked really well because one, I was very open about it, about everything, about the journey, what I'm building, revenues, retention, and so on, and cost. And it resonated really well with Base44's audience, which are builders, right? Base44's audience are people who are looking to build software products. Either they're starting out new companies, or they're building internal tools for themselves, or they're building products for their family or like day-to-day life. And I think the story was interesting for them to follow because, hey, here's a builder that is building their own product and can share some of the experiences in how he's after his new set of customers and how he's looking at competition and what are the features that he's pushing out and what does a single builder do to increase velocity in terms of like feature being released. And so the building public worked really well, and the organic motion worked really well, and that got us to the first few millions of dollars in ARR. And I think it was a good foundation, so that later on, once we had this organic and virality structure already as part of the product, we could lay in also paid marketing. Yeah, but I think one of the lessons that I got from this adventure is like, don't start market your product before you have the first 10, 20, 30 users, friends or family or whoever you can get to use your product that can tell you, you know what, this is a good experience. And I remember, because it was a very competitive market back then already, and I remember I've taken my first set of users and I told them, hey, you should use this competitor and that competitor and tell me what you think, like be honest with me, be objective. And once the feedback that I got is, hey, Base44 is doing really well for my use case. I don't want to use any other product. I've tried all of them, and this is the right tool for me to use. Then I knew that I have the right foundation to start marketing it. And for different products, different things would work. For me, again, because my audience were builders, the building public motion, the first blog post and post on social, I think worked really well. Building public is an interesting strategy, and I don't think it works for any type of product. But here's the way I'm thinking about this. When you're starting out, things are tough, and your product is definitely not perfect. And the asset you want to rely on is the first set of users. This is everything, right? That they give you the feedback. If your product is good, they're gonna tell other people, and you want to rally people around you that would want you to succeed, that would want to be part of your story. And when you're starting out, the story is critical. You don't want to sell like a boring tool that nobody would get connected to emotionally, especially early on, because the product's not going to be great, or it's not going to be like perfect. It's going to be very baggy. You'll need a lot of iterations, but it's like a chicken and an egg. You won't know, no matter how smart you are, you won't know what you actually need to improve in your product without acquiring those first set of users. Building public is interesting because I feel like it's creating this sort of feeling with the community around you that they're part of your journey and they're following this like almost like a TV show, and they want you to succeed and they want to see the progress. And I think the excitement about showing that every day something happens makes this story and your product alive. And so I don't think it works for everything, right? I think if you're a company that is building products for, let's say, cybersecurity products for large enterprises, and you're selling to like an executive, like this, it's not the case. But if your audience, to some degree, would empathize with an honest story of how you're building this company, and they will say, oh, I want to be a part of this story. And I want to influence that. And hey, here's a guy that's trying the best that he can. He's very honest about it. He's sharing valuable lessons for all of us later on, maybe if we want to build our own thing. Being very open about it, which was early on was very weird for me, because it's very weird to share revenue numbers and costs, and especially if things are not going well, right? It's easy to share like, hey, I'm crushing it, I'm doing $1 million, but the reality is that for most companies, for 99% of companies, even 100% of companies, there are many gray days, there are many rainy days, and there are many like days that are not great. But you have to be consistent about the building public if you really want to create this authenticity with your audience. It's a very good question. I think it's a combination of a couple of things. I think one is being very honest and down to earth, and knowing that building a company is such a crazy journey, and it's okay to not always be on top. I think the best entrepreneurs that I know are not the ones that are screaming every day, hey, I'm crushing it, I'm doing the best, like we're the leader in the market. I think those the best entrepreneurs that I know that it's a marathon and not a sprint. And I think to some degree this is the angle that I've taken on the building public, especially in the first few months. So now we're a part of a public company. But for me, I think from very early on for Base44, I wanted the journey to be kind of like the most important thing, not necessarily the outcome. So it's not necessarily that I wanted for Base44 to be sold and to make a lot of money or whatever. I think the journey was really important for me, and I want to get back to just the joy of building something and this adventure of every day kind of like improving it a bit and facing the challenges. I think I've taken a very honest approach to it and sharing some of the things that I was bashing my head against the wall because I didn't know how to market the product or that how to fight with heavily funded competitors. And so yeah, for me what works is one, being very honest about it, sharing the things that are valuable. So you can always share like charts that go up and people like, and they'll hit the like on like, hey, revenues is growing. But I think sharing the actual things that I'm trying and different things that I tried, and I tried this and that didn't work, and I tried that and that didn't work, and here's what I learned from whatever doing this and that, and sharing how I'm approaching marketing and how I'm approaching support when I'm by myself, and how I'm dedicating my time and what did I learn here and there. And I think sharing those valuable lessons instead of just sharing, hey, here's the numbers report for today and tomorrow, has worked really, really well. And once I got the early momentum, I think it's sharing that like not necessarily putting a spotlight on me every time, but also on the community. And Base44's community is absolutely the most incredible thing that I've seen from day one since this community came to be. And I think sharing with them the success, you know what, when Base44 was acquired by Wix, I got many very cool messages, even emotional stuff that people wrote to me. You know what, I felt like I was being acquired, like I was part of the journey, and this is so cool, and I'm so happy for you. And I feel like the community around the product came to be really, really well. And as an entrepreneur, the best thing that you can do is just fall in love with the community, their everything, with the first few users. Make sure they know that you're there fighting day to day to build a better product. And I've opened up a WhatsApp group and I've let everyone know, hey, here's my number if you need anything, because people started building. I think one of the things that's, especially when you build a product for consumers, so the key thing is to find those viral loops. So this might be specific to Base44. Okay, my audience were builders, so I built in public, and then they're sharing their story, and it's like something that keeps on feeding. And by the way, to this day, this is what we're seeing, and we put a lot of spotlight on the success stories from the community. But I think every product is different, and if you're building a product for consumers, you have to dedicate a lot of time to think, what's the viral loops? How do I create virality? How do I make the fact that like every new user would introduce me to a new user on average or something like that. And I think cracking those viral loops, if you're able to get that together with a good product, that's going to take you to the moon. I think it was April. I think it was like 2-3 months after the launch. At first it wasn't like acquisition talks. They reached out. Wix is one of those companies that I admire and adore, and I think they're a great product. I think what they've done and their story and how they managed to crack this market, the way they do marketing, everything. I said, I don't know what they want to speak with me about, but I'm there when I want to learn. And I think the first early conversations were around either a partnership or funding, that I didn't really need funding or wanted funding back then, but I wanted to partner with Wix. So we started conversations back in April. I think by June we already signed the papers. These days, things, if you look at the startup ecosystem, things that used to take years are now taking months. Not only for Base44, for everyone. There's like big acceleration across everything. It will only get more extreme, I think, in the upcoming months. But yeah, it was pretty fast, even though those 2 months were very pivotal Because in the first conversations, I remember speaking with the team, I told them, I don't want to get acquired. That's the first thing that I told the team. But at some point after a couple of conversations, I think what I understood is kind of like I sat down with myself and thinking like, what do I want to do? Like, what do I want this to turn out to be? Do I want to get reach out of that? Is that important? Or do I want to make it global? Do I want to be like a good brand? I think eventually what I thought to myself is I want to make this product global. I feel like the impact that Base44 is doing on people is really good, and it makes me wake up in the morning with a lot of energies, because you get a lot of stories of, hey, I love the platform, look what I built with my daughter, or I built a business on top of your platform and now I've changed completely my life. And I think I wanted these stories to just see them everywhere. And after meeting the team and Avishai a few times, I understood that the best opportunity for Base44 to turn out to be global is to partner up with Wix. And I think looking now 9 months into the acquisition, I think that was the best decision that I could have made, because Base44 did turn out to be a global phenomenon. What I tried keeping in mind is, how do we keep the startup mentality, especially on the product side, so that we can iterate fast and move fast and build fast, but then scale like a global brand and a global company. And I think the partners that now I have internally inside the company and the people leading the departments have done a phenomenal job, and I'm so happy that kind of like we were able to bring mostly the right people on the first pass. And so yeah, a lot of it, and it still is like, how do we scale to the next stage and next stage and next stage while keeping this startup mentality of moving fast. Right? I think I have this principle when building companies is, don't try to move to the next stage until it really hurts, right? Don't introduce layers of management until it really hurts. Like, don't bring more people until it really hurts, until you actually feel like, okay, the business is screaming at me, I should do it. And until then, stay the lean, fast, small team that you, as much as you can, and iterate as fast as you can, because these days product velocity is everything. This was the biggest thing. Obviously, there were entire places in the business that I didn't know how to scale, from marketing and support and so on. And I think having now the right partners besides me has really helped with my ability, for example, to focus a lot on product and focus a lot on strategy and think, how does this market, this crazy market, looks like in a year from now? So this change was pretty good, I think, for the business. I think everybody that has some prophecies and predictions for the next 2 years is probably bullshitting. So I'm sorry for the language. I think nobody really knows where the market is headed. I think what I try to constantly envision is, what is the end game? Like, what's the end game for people building software? What's the end game for businesses even, right? And how do you work in an environment with AI agents embedded everywhere? How do you work, like, how would it look like when there would be perfect models that are executing everything that you're telling it to do? Then there's like, you start think about the next bottlenecks, and that's what we're now focusing on. Is like, okay, ideas are really important, right? Because if you can do everything, then knowing what to do or coming up with the idea, okay, this is really important. Second is like, how do you market the product? How do you keep it safe? How do you build great designs? So I think a lot of our focus now is moving from the technical barrier that I think is getting solved. I think you can build nowadays in Base44 a whole lot of different types of software, and you can do, and there's Base44 automations, and you can build websites and web apps, and you can do mobile applications, and you can be heavy on the back end, and you can generate great designs. And so I think we're expanding fast the percentage of software that you can build in Base44. What I'm thinking of is like, how does the future software looks like? How can we make AI help us with not only building software, but actually understanding what I should build? And so think about AI that is embedded in your life, knows you really well, and knows constantly tells you, hey, you can automate this, you can build this application. How do teams work now? Teams of humans work with teams of agents, and so a lot of what I'm trying to do day to day is to clear some small part of my time to think about the future and how do people are going to work with AI and what's the end game, assuming that models will just get better and better. Yeah, so that's pretty much about it. Some spoilers is AI that helps you understand what you should build and helps you all around your business. How do you market? How do you keep it secure? How do you design it? As well as now we're seeing the new super agents product that we've released. It's picking up so fast. I think it's picking adoption faster than Base44. We'll have to see in the next few weeks. But then you start thinking about the next steps. Okay, how can I make teams of agents work with teams of humans? How do I make it know the user better so that it's able to suggest different things? I think those are the main building blocks for the future for us.
So I guess that's it for the interview. Thank you very much for your time and
Thank you.
yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.